1. USMNT coach Pochettino furious over controversial handball decision in Gold Cup final versus Mexico. 2. US vs Mexico Gold Cup final 2025. A new hope for USMNT despite loss. 1. USMNT coach Pochettino furious over controversial handball decision in Gold Cup final versus Mexico. Controversy exploded in the CONCACAF Gold Cup final as USMNT head coach Mauricio Pochettino launched a blistering attack on officiating decisions that he claims directly cost his team the championship. But here's the explosive part most fans are debating: a critical handball no call that Pochettino insists would have been penalized if roles were reversed. Let's unpack the drama that's dividing the soccer world, /N/N following a heartbreaking 2-1 defeat to archrivals Mexico. Pochettino unleashed fierce criticism toward referee Mario Escobar. The Argentine manager pinpointed two pivotal moments that he believes unfairly swung the match, particularly a 66th-minute incident where Mexican defender Jorge Sánchez clearly handled the ball in his own penalty area. /N/N replays showed Sanchez's hand striking the ball as he slipped, though officials ruled it incidental contact rather than intentional handling. This interpretation infuriated Pochettino, who argued vehemently if that identical situation happened at the other end against us, it would have been an automatic penalty. No question, he elaborated with startling clarity Sánchez wasn't just falling, he actively pushed his hand toward the ball. This wasn't a case of the ball accidentally hitting a grounded hand. That distinction changes everything, and the coach's frustration stems from imagining an alternate outcome at 1-1 in that moment, a penalty could have put us up 2-1. Instead of mourning a loss, we might be celebrating with the trophy right now, yet in a display of professionalism, Pochettino emphasized I'm not here to cry over spilled milk. But watching that non-call was genuinely embarrassing for the sport, and the controversy deepened with Mexico's 77th-minute winner. Edson Álvarez's goal was initially disallowed for offside before video review overturned the decision, but Pochettino contends the goal still shouldn't have stood. He pointed to Mexican defender César Montes positioning himself in an offside location while physically engaging with American Chris Richards, preventing Richards from defending the play. Montes was clearly blocking Richards' movement, Pochettino stated. And the passer was offside too. By the rules, this should have been disallowed. But today, only we suffered from these interpretations, and amidst the officiating storm, Pochettino highlighted his team's remarkable resilience. Reaching the final was no small feat considering the squad's depleted roster missing superstar Christian Pulisic, midfield engine Weston McKennie, speedy winger Tim Weah, and defensive anchor Anthony Robinson. Their journey included 3 group stage victories, a tense penalty shootout triumph over Costa Rica, and a semi-final win against Guatemala, and the silver lining. Pochettino believes this tournament proved the USMNT's potential despite the gut-wrenching finale. This experience showed tremendous growth in how we want to play, he reflected. The pain of losing a final is excruciating, but we're building towards something bigger. Keep your heads up, this path will make us fiercely competitive for next year's World Cup on home soil, and now here's where opinions clash. Was Sanchez's handball truly a clear and obvious error as Pochettino claims? Or did officials correctly apply the no intent clause in the rules? And does Pochettino have a legitimate argument about the offside interference on the winning goal, or is this classic sour grapes? We're seeing furious debates online. What's your take? Drop your verdict in the comments. Was this a robbery or just tough football luck? /N/N Image credit Omar Vega/Getty Images /N Journalist bio Martin Rogers is head of U.S. soccer coverage for The Athletic, bringing experience from Fox Sports, USA Today, and Yahoo Sports. With 8 World Cups, 8 Olympics, and 10 Super Bowls covered, he's one of America's most seasoned soccer analysts. 2. US vs Mexico Gold Cup Final 2025. A new hope for USMNT despite loss. The U.S. national team's bittersweet Gold Cup experience, a silver lining for the 2026 World Cup. In a thrilling finale, Mexico claimed its second consecutive CONCACAF Gold Cup title, defeating the United States 2-1 in a heated match at Houston's NRG Stadium. While the U.S. team's loss may have been a bitter pill to swallow, it also brought a glimmer of hope for the 2026 World Cup. The question on everyone's mind is, can this team's newfound momentum and intensity carry over to the World Cup? A change in momentum, not status quo. Mexico's victory may not have changed the status quo in CONCACAF, but it has undoubtedly shifted the momentum in their favor. This win marked the first time Mexico defeated the U.S. in 6 years, minus 1 day. For the U.S., however, the past month has seen significant changes that could substantially impact their projected 2026 World Cup roster. From disappointment to rediscovery. The U.S. team's journey to the Gold Cup final was not without its challenges. Following a disastrous Nations League campaign and losses to Turkey and Switzerland, the team was missing several key players, including star forward Christian Pulisic. With expectations and enthusiasm at an all-time low, the U.S. team rediscovered their moxie and intensity, which had been missing for over a year. Pochettino's positive outlook. U.S. manager Mauricio Pochettino remained optimistic despite the loss, praising his team's performance and growth throughout the tournament. "When you lose a trophy, it's really, really painful," he said. "But the most important thing is to have our head up because I think the tournament was fantastic. We keep going, this is the way we want to build our journey to the World Cup. In this way, I have no doubt, we're going to be really, really competitive." A B team with a big impact. The U.S. team's B team, which included players like Matt Freese, Diego Luna, and Sebastian Berhalter, proved to be a game-changer. Pochettino's decision to start these players over more experienced ones like Matt Turner and Brendan Aronson paid off, as they brought a fresh energy and desire to the team. Roster watch: who's in, who's out? The Gold Cup has thrown a wrench into the U.S. team's roster plans. With several players making a strong case for themselves, Pochettino will have to make some tough decisions. Will he stick with the players who performed well in the Gold Cup, or will he bring back the absentees like Pulisic and Weston McKennie? One thing is certain, the competition for places has just gotten a lot more intense. A glass-half-full view. While the U.S. team may have been dominated in the final, they gave Mexico a good game despite being without most of their attacking weapons. The abundance of joy and relief from the Mexican team, after their goals and the final whistle was telling. The U.S. team's performance has given them a glimmer of hope for the 2026 World Cup. The road to the World Cup. The U.S. team's journey to the World Cup has just gotten a lot more interesting. With several players emerging as contenders for a spot on the team, Pochettino will have to make some tough decisions. Will he stick with the players who performed well in the Gold Cup, or will he bring back the absentees? One thing is certain, the competition for places has just gotten a lot more intense. Content hooks. Asterisk: what do you think is the most significant takeaway from the U.S. team's Gold Cup experience? Asterisk: do you think Pochettino will stick with the players who performed well in the Gold Cup, or will he bring back the absentees? Asterisk: how do you think the U.S. team's performance in the Gold Cup will impact their chances in the 2026 World Cup?